You said it's the little things in life that bite you.
Right. And
I've never heard it that way before. But
hold on really quick. So about 85% of what we went over on the Friday call comes from this book. If you've not read it, you should get a copy of it. It's very small. It's a very fast read. Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy used to be the editor-in-chief and publisher of Success Magazine before it's doing its weird like death rattle thing that it's doing right now. So the guy's awesome. You can also find him. He has like a Darren Daily is what it's called, where he sends a video each day, quick, like 2 to 3 minute video. I've listened to that and subscribed to that for years. But bottom line, this book is absolutely fantastic. And that's where that little thing comes from. He talks about, have you ever been bitten by an elephant? No. Have you been bitten by a mosquito? Yes. And it's those little things. Most businesses die by 1 million mosquito bites, not 1 elephant bite. Right? It's the little things that compound over time that we don't do or that we do that lead to the failure or the struggles that we end up having. Now, nobody on this call yet. I had a partner conversation last week when I was in Portland after the call, and they were talking about they were frustrated with their business. They weren't having any results now. And so I said, okay, perfect. Tell me, what were you doing 90 days ago? Anyone want to guess what the answer was?
Not lead genning.
Not doing a lot was the answer, right? And it was self-discovery. I didn't tell them that, but the whole point is it's little things, and the challenge is it's not just little things, but it's also delayed gratification, good or bad. It's the little things, but we don't feel the pain sometimes until 90 days later, and we get 90 days out and we go, uh-oh, I've got nothing on the board. And now we want to hurry and get something on the board, but guess when it doesn't show up? It doesn't show up now because time is out, right? And we start talking to somebody today, we're likely not going to be showing them properties today. I mean, sometimes it happens. It's not the norm. So those little things play huge. Now, on the call, we asked 7 questions. What was the first one? You can cheat because I can't see your computer. You can have the email up. What was the first question in the list of 7 questions?
In what areas of your business have you been complacent?
Okay, now there's 2 ways we can do the rest of this call because we only go till 11:30 my time. So I can either make this really painful or we can all engage and participate and shout out our answers as we're going through so that we're not singled out. Either way is great, or I can call on you when voluntold you. So what would you guys answer to the first one? In what areas of your business have you become complacent? Because we all do this.
Open houses.
What's that?
Open houses.
Okay. Who else?
Open houses.
What?
Jen said open houses.
Script practicing.
Script practicing, okay. What else?
Ooh, I need to add that to mine too.
Time blocking.
Okay, so there's no shortage of things that we get complacent with. Can we all agree there?
Right.
Like, I've got a list bigger than yours, I'm sure. Number 2, what activities did you used to do faithfully and consistently that you've let what?
Slip.
Go.
So what would you answer to that?
Facebook.
Time blocking.
Facebooking, time blocking, what else?
Craigslist and expired mailers.
Got it, okay. What else?
Networking.
Okay, what else?
Thank you cards.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Popeyes.
No shortage, Popeyes, no shortage of things we could be doing, right? The key to this question, and you don't have to give me a fine answer, but the key to this question, as I was coming up with these, the absolute key to this question was the effective things. Because there's a lot of things we let slip intentionally, and we should because they're not effective. What we're zeroing in on here is what was effective in the past we used to do consistently that we've let slip, right? Just meant to jog your memory. What's the third question?
What little things in your life and your business are serving you well?
Here we go again with those little darn things, right? So which ones are serving you well? Which ones are taking a toll? And who are you becoming and who's your business becoming because of those little things? So how would you answer this question if you were being completely honest with yourself?
Positive mindset.
Got it. Okay. So let's talk about that one because there's a few other people on this call, i.e. me, and maybe a few others because we're human that we wrestle with that one. So let's talk about that positive mindset because it's really easy to be happy and excited and pumped up when things are going your way. What about the gap between the work and when the results show up? How do we keep a positive mindset in that gap? Because that's not always an easy thing to do.
Go back to what you're working for.
Okay.
Being consistent with your lead gen.
Absolutely. So, and I totally agree with that. Being consistent with the lead gen, how do we do what we know we need to do when we don't feel like doing it?
Play games with yourself, like not give yourself a certain reward that you really want until you get what you don't want to do done.
Yeah, the unpopular answer, yet the effective one, is accountability. Right. So, Annette, would you just share with us, you committed to doing something. You don't have to say what it was, but you committed to doing something, and you set up your own pain if you didn't do it, and you didn't do it. Can you share with them what that pain was?
Which one are you talking about?
Ah, okay. So there we go. This is perfect. So I'm talking about the one where you had to write a check to somebody else.
Oh, so if I didn't send my 5 commitments to Michael Putnam every morning by 7:30, I have to write a check to an agent in my office that I don't necessarily love as a referral off my next deal that closes.
And what happened?
I missed a day.
So guess what Annette gets to do?
Ouch.
Wow.
Do you think she's going to make that mistake twice?
I haven't.
Now, this is just one example. I'm not saying you have to do anything, and I didn't tell, Putty didn't tell Annette to do this. Who came up with that?
Me.
Annette did, right? That's the whole key. So you have to figure out what it is for you. And what we also know is if there's not enough pain involved, will it matter?
Yes. It'll matter because she won't do it.
It won't matter because it won't move you, right? If there's not enough pain, it won't move you. Because what we know is, we learned from Bold, the pain-pleasure conversation. Human nature, we think we do more to move towards pain than we would to avoid pleasure. And what's the truth?
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. We as human beings, our brain was designed to keep us safe, not make us happy and wealthy. Our brain was designed to keep us safe. Our brain was designed, there's a bear chasing you, run really fast. That's the brain's job, is to keep you alive. It's survival. It's not to make you happy and wealthy, right? So we have to do something that inflicts pain to get our brain working on our behalf in that way, right? So you have to figure out what that is for you, but that's one example of making it a game, bringing in some accountability, making it different. You have to figure out what that looks like for you, right? So that's a huge way, as far as number 3, that's a huge way once you identify what things are serving you, more importantly, which things aren't. It's a huge way to make sure that you're building a habit away from those things that are not serving you, right? And it doesn't mean that anybody ever arrives and gets there and we don't ever go back and slip back into a bad mindset or slip back into bad habits. That's life. We're human, right? But who are you bringing into your world and telling this is what I'm committed to, that you're giving permission to speak into you and call you on the carpet and tell you your baby's ugly if it is? That's what we're looking for. Like, if your baby's ugly, you got to give somebody permission to tell them. And by your baby, I mean your business. Like, we all think our babies are cute. Have you ever met a parent that said, oh, my baby is the ugliest kid I've ever seen in my entire life? Heck no, you haven't. They all think they're amazing. And some of them are actually ugly. Some of them are actually like Martians, and they think they're amazingly beautiful kids. And none of us have the heart to tell them they're not because they haven't given us permission to. Do you agree with me?
Yep.
Yes.
Who are you giving permission to other than me? Who are you giving permission to in your world to tell you when your baby's ugly, right? That's what we're talking about here. Somebody that can speak to you on that level. That doesn't mean you're going to like what they have to say, but you're going to love hearing it because you know the heart behind it is to help you and motivate you and get you back on track. So you need to have somebody in this world that can speak into you that way. What about number 4?
What specific activities are you doing in your business that is producing results? What's working?
So what would you answer? In your business, in your market, specific to you, what are you doing that's working? Because not only can we all learn from this and maybe somebody gets an idea of something to try, but we're going to go a step further. So let's start. What's working for you right now? What are you doing that's producing results?
Open houses. They're getting me contacts. They're getting me phone numbers, people to follow up with.
Love it. Absolutely. What else?
Facebook for referrals from other agents.
Love it. You've been really purposeful with that. Absolutely. What else?
I do a lot of door knocking.
Door knocking for Owen. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sphere for Annette. Okay. What else? Okay. Let me ask you another question. It's not on the list. This is just free, so no extra cost. This is not on the list. What are you not getting results from? What are you not necessarily getting great results from, or maybe not absolutely skilled in, or is your best use of your time? What would that look like? Maybe it works for other agents, but it's just not your thing.
Well, it's not my thing, but I love doing open houses, but some of the open houses I've had recently, I'm getting like nothing coming through. They're all either attached to agents or, I put out average about 30 signs, and sometimes I don't get anything coming through.
Okay. So now here, just really quick to show Owen, because this is Owen's first call with us. Who on here is having consistently, now of course, some are going to be great, some are going to be but overall, who's having a pretty good experience doing open houses in your market area? Just do this on your video. Who's having good results? David is, Annette is, right? So Owen, just know that offline, feel free to reach out to these people, because we all are going to be really good at some things and none of us are great at everything, yet we can leverage the power of this group and through that process all make more money. Okay. Now, here's my follow-up to that question. So what specific activities are you doing in your business that are producing results? What's working? There's a school of thought, and Cody and I talked about this on a development call, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, but the whole process is this. The thought process we've all been told since we were little kids is that we should always work to develop or get better at our weaknesses. Have you guys heard that before since you were born at some point in time?
Yep.
And what Cody and I were talking about, and there's been a lot of research, it's not our brilliant idea, we didn't come up with it, but the dialogue that's being had in Gary's mastermind group, the dialogue that continues to be had between Cody and I, Chad has it with the One Thing staff. I mean, there's a huge dialogue that says, what if that's absolutely backwards? What if instead of trying to get better at our weaknesses, we double down on our strengths? Like, there's enough business that can come out of our strengths versus our weakness. So what happens when we've got half a year left. What happens when you just look at your time blocking, your calendar, looking forward the rest of this year, and you over allocate time to your strengths and pull time away from your weaknesses? It doesn't mean you can't do them, but we're talking about creating momentum, building results, getting things cooking now to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. What happens in your business when you double down on those strengths, right? That's the point with that question. Number 5 is what? Woo!
Sorry about that.
No, that's a good song, man. Yeah.
What are you currently doing in your business that you need to quit?
Now, this is a big one, guys. This is absolutely massive. How many people remember the book The Dip by Seth Godin? Okay, 1 person. 2 people. Fantastic. So if you've not yet read it, you should read it because it's an absolutely fantastic read. Talk about small. It's like you could read it in an hour. It's a very simple book. Here's the point out of that one that made me think of this question. A lot of times, another lie we've been told over time is that winners don't what? Quit. And the reality is winners quit all the freaking time. Winners quit fast and they quit often. They quit doing things that don't work. They quit doing things that don't produce results. They quit spending time in areas of weakness. They quit doing the things that aren't getting them to their goals, right? So what do we need to quit? Now, I want you to answer that in your own business as you're looking forward. If the rest of this year we're doing an assessment of where we are versus where we want to be, part of that means, what do I have to kill off? Like, what do I have to absolutely cut out of my business that no longer serves me, which frees up the time that I can reallocate in areas of my strength? Right now, at the same time, not just the strength, but also the market of the moment. If you're spending a ton of time in a market right now on expireds and you're scraping to find 2 or 3 expireds a week, that might not be the best investment of your time. I'm not saying don't do it, but it's a lot different than working open houses or working for sell-by owners, because that's the market of the moment, right? This changes based on what the environment we find ourselves in as far as the real estate market. What's the next one?
What adjustments need to be made today in your business to ensure that you arrive at the destination of your goals by the end of the year?
So what does that look like for you guys? What adjustments do you have to make today in your business in order to arrive at the destination of your goals by year end? I want to hear from you guys. What do you see in your business needs to be adjusted?
Well, double down on your strengths and dump what's not working.
Absolutely. Great one. What else?
I'm actually going to a business planning clinic tomorrow to readjust numbers if need to.
Love it. Love it. For me, what I would do, and I'm doing it for Cody, I can't turn my camera, but I've got it on my whiteboard right over here. What Cody and I are doing is literally redoing our pro forma for the company mid-year, just like the market center that you're in does every mid-year with their budget, to look at here's where we thought we'd be, here's where we actually are, and what do we need to adjust. That's not a sign of weakness. That's called smart business, right? Now, I'm not saying you give up on your goals, but that conversation forces you to look and get real with what is working, what isn't working, and how am I allocating my time, both sides, right? That's the conversation I want you to be having with me, with everyone else on this call around your business, is really taking an honest look and calling your own baby ugly if you need to, and deciding what you need to kill off and what you need to double down in, okay? And the last one. Why would I ask this last one? What is it?
Accountability.
What adjustments are you willing to execute on?
Yeah.
Right? Because we talked about on the call Friday, I've talked about on the calls before, deciding isn't what?
Doing.
Deciding isn't doing. It's easy for us to sit in a call like this, or to sit in a meeting, or to sit in a business planning class and say, perfect, here's what I'm deciding I'm going to do. Yet how many people come out of those courses and that training and actually execute? It's a small percentage, because deciding isn't doing. The deciding is the easiest part. The execution is the hard part. The execution is what separates top performers from everybody else, right? So the reason I asked question 7 after question 6 is you brainstorm on question 6, what could you do? What adjustments could you make or should you make? Then question 7 is, out of that list, what are you willing to execute on? What are you willing to do? And then, oh, by the way, that includes bringing accountability in around that, maybe some pain like Annette, but talking with yourself, getting real with yourself around what adjustments have to be made, what am I absolutely committed and willing to make in changes and adjustments, by when am I going to actually make them, and who am I bringing into that conversation to help hold me accountable to it. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Then also in the email at the very bottom, we did the 5 things that it takes to create momentum, so don't miss that. So I am 2 minutes over on our call. Thank you all for being on today. Thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to talking with all of you one-on-one. And as always throughout the week, if anything comes up, if you need anything, call me on my cell phone. I'm here all week. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you.